Toronto versus Columbus. Hello everyone, my name is Norman and welcome to OT1. Yeah, that's it. Let's get right into it. Columbus versus Toronto, game 1. So Columbus actually started the game and ended the game with Jonas Korpisalo in goal, who had a shutout. It was perhaps surprising, but looking back at the game, you can't really label it as a bad decision. I was perhaps expecting Elvis to get his shot. Freddie Anderson was in it for the Leafs. And as much as he can be great, he's just inconsistent a lot of the time. And after a long break, he was definitely bound to be the key to success or failure for the Leafs. Anderson did prove to be important, and he did let a goal in. You can't blame him for that. With any other goalkeeper, I think they could have been up 2 or 3 way before that. So, the game started with high-speed offense from the Leafs, but both teams were really feeling each other out, not wanting to risk much, not wanting to concede early, and you got the feeling that you'd need a goal to really get the game to open up. And Columbus, you were using Seth Jones and Zachorensky a lot on offense, drawing the Leafs out to open up the ice, and if they didn't, they'd attempt a shot, which was actually really working well for Columbus. So this was a game where Columbus had a very clear plan, and they executed it to perfection, although it did help that the Leafs, like Kasperi Kapanen, like Mitch Marner, like Cody Ceci, yet again, certainly did not have a good game. It certainly was an excellent game plan from Columbus that they executed perfectly. So, it remained close with only about 2 shots for the Leafs and 1 for Columbus within the 8 minutes of the first period. So 11 minutes into the period, it looked like Columbus would take the lead with a Pierre-Luc Dubois breakaway, but it was just saved by Freddie Anderson, and definitely was a close call and a wake-up call for the Leafs, from which they probably actually did not wake up from. So Toronto did look a little uncoordinated at times, even uninspiring up front. You look at Mitch Marner, you look at John Tavares, Kasperi Kapanen, who did not really produce anything in this game. With a couple of minutes left in the first, Matthews would hit the bar, but nothing more, and 30 seconds later, so did Zachorensky on a breakaway 3-on-1. But the game isn't going anyway, and it's precisely what everyone expected, a very tight matchup, with not that many chances either way, but if there are, you needed to capitalize on them, and no team yet did that. However, Columbus did look the more dangerous team. So it's the same story in the second, with Columbus unable to convert the power play and no team looking particularly stronger than the other, with both goalies looking very confident when they were called upon. Bjorkstrand nearly opened the score late in the second, but Anderson just about managed to get his left leg across to save it. Face-offs were equal, shots were divided equally as well. However, the difference was the physical game of the teams, with Columbus dishing out many more hits, which over a series of 2, 3, 4, 5 games, that will take its toll on the players and will actually prove to be a very important factor going forward for Columbus. Probably as important as the physical aspect of the play was also the mental aspect of the play. You could see Toronto getting frustrated a lot, which seemed to be a problem where the Leafs were facing at times, and the score was still 0-0. It's very important to keep your head in the game, which Toronto sometimes did not look to be doing, but they'll definitely have to keep that under control for the next few games if they want to make it anywhere near the playoffs. Then early into the third, the deadlock has been broken with a Cam Atkinson goal that puts the Blue Jackets on the scoreboard, and that forces the Leafs to risk more and finally opens up the game. The next few minutes still were pretty much Columbus's, and you start to wonder if Toronto will actually still get a decent chance to score. But again, the Leafs' case was not helped with some individual mistakes, some terrible positioning or decision-making for a few players. Again, one of them, Kasperi Kapanen, Cody Ceci taking bad penalties, Mitch Marner not even having a shot on goal the entire game. So Columbus actually made it 2-0 on the open net. Can't really blame Freddie Anderson this game. I think Freddie Anderson had a very good game and actually kept the Leafs in it. But Columbus not only outshot and out-hit and out-blocked Toronto, they just showed much more desire, much more determination, a better game plan. They actually stuck to the game plan. They worked together as a tandem and not as individuals. And it's just Groundhog Day for the Leafs yet again. Seth Jones, Zachorensky looked unbeatable at times, and if they can keep this up, it'll be a clean sweep for Columbus. Sheldon Keefe should demand more from the players, and the players should demand more from each other and should just deliver more as well. on the Leafs, or I could genuinely see this team being broken up in a few months with some key guys like perhaps John Tavares leaving, like perhaps Mitch Marner or William Nylander being forced to leave. And that would force the Leafs into a rebuild that I think no fan wants. Toronto's positive definitely was Freddie Anderson. Marner, who had no shot at all, was definitely the negative. Kasperi Kapanen and most other Leafs actually had a night to forget. So I'll definitely be watching Game 2 very closely, but I expect Columbus to deliver a similar performance. Perhaps not the same game plan, perhaps a little tweak and a little twist there. Just about enough to perform during Game 2, get that game as well going for them, and then just seeing out the rest of the series. I'll be curious to see which Toronto teams decide to turn up as well. This was a Toronto team that everyone dreaded, and is a Toronto team that a few fans actually expected to turn up. But it'll be interesting to see if they can actually turn it on after this loss, get a win in the second, potentially get a win in the third, and then we'll see what happens. So that was it for the recap of the Leafs versus Columbus game. I've been Norman, this has been OT1, and I thank you very much for watching.